And welcome back to the Wide League. My name is the Dodd, and thank you, Casual Boy, for hosting of the first couple of rounds. I am here, joined by Eric, and we've got another round of some Scarlet and Violet VGC, and we are super excited to bring this one to you guys. We got Hendez here with Furat, and Eric, it's been some incredible matches so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had a lot of really good action so far, a lot of good players going up. But now we are going to have Hendez, which is a new player that I'm not familiar with, but I'm excited to see what they are bringing to the table.
Yeah, and it looks like Hendez is coming in here with a Garchomp, Murkrow, Meowscarada, Hydreigon, and Goldingo as well. So should be an interesting matchup. We see the first leads coming out here is going to be Farigiraf and Annihilape, as well for the Meowscarada and Arcanine here for Hendez. So very interesting lead here.
Yeah, so we see Hendez's team with the pretty standard combination here. We got the Double Dragons, we got the Murkrow, we got the Meowscarada, Goldango, Arcanine going up against Farigiraf, so we got to be mindful that potentially no priority moves coming out here. Also, Annihilape is, did we see it get the Defiant boost?
I think not quite sure here, but we see the U-turn coming off here, going into the Meowscarada is going to take it all the way out, which is interesting. The Annihilate's going to be returned to a Furat here, as we see what possibly could come out next. It's an interesting move using that U-turn right off the bat, but it's a really good tactic against Meowscarada with that 4x weakness to Bug. Definitely not liking to take a U-turn, as the Garganackle is going to be what's going to be coming out here for Furat. Interesting choice here. The Snarl going to fire off from Arcanine into that Farigiraf, get a critical special attack drop, especially critical on this Farigiraf, who likes to utilize that special attack. And the Trick Room coming off of Farigiraf, its Armor Tail preventing any priority moves from taking advantage of that. Very interesting turn one here for both these players.
Yeah, this is a big reveal for Hendez here, getting the confirmation that this Annihilape is the Choice Scarf variant. Getting the key knockout on that Meowscarada. Also a nice item reveal there, indicating that it is not the Focus Sash, probably a more offensive item here. But Garganackle and Trick Room in front of two special attackers sounds like a pretty good recipe for some Iron Defense stuff coming out here. Of course, Garganackle cannot be status due to its ability, so it's pretty content here to just start Iron Defensing. I mean, Farigiraf minds the special attack drop just a little bit, but I mean, it's done its job. It set up Trick Room, and it looks to be the Garganackle show coming up. We'll see how Hendez responds to this as we see how he works in Trick Room.
And we see the Arcanine coming back here for Hendez, and Hydreigon switched in. A very interesting one, and a very dominant force in this current meta. And the Terastallization coming off. It looks like this is going to be going for Hendez here into that Garchomp. That Garchomp's going to Terastallize into that ground type, giving it even more of a stab bonus on some potential earthquakes. An absolute terror for anyone on the field. Iron Defense is going to go off for this Garganackle. Potential body press is looking even more oppressive at this point. And the Farigiraf going to fire off a Hyper Voice into both slots, not doing as much, especially with that special attack drop. Earthquake firing off from this Garchomp. Hydreigon protected by its Levitate, and it's going to do a good chunk of damage on both of these Pokemon, but still Garganackle sitting healthy, right above 50%, and Farigiraf hanging on there with not a lot, but a pretty good chunk of HP.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, this is prime position for Garganackle to start stacking up those Iron Defenses, especially being in front of two physical attackers. Hydreigon coming in, not the best option here for Hendez, as that is a Pokemon that is very susceptible to body press, and we saw that even that Terra Ground Earthquake was not doing a whole lot of damage to Garganackle. So we're gonna have to see how Hendez is going to break this Garganackle, because with just Arcanine remaining in the back, it's not looking like he is carrying a lot of answers to deal with this threat. Meanwhile, Farigiraf is just content there to start spamming Hyper Voices, get a little bit more chip damage as the body press does come out and the Hydreigon goes down.
Big body press coming off here, knocking out this Hydreigon. Does not like to take those fighting type moves. Hyper Voice firing off from this Farigiraf. Still not doing nearly as much with that Terastallized ground typing on Garchomp. And the Earthquake, yet again, firing off of this Garchomp, is going to take this Garganackle down a lot further, and Farigiraf completely out of the game. So a 1-for-1 trade here for both trainers.
Yeah, so Garganackle finally getting under half HP. Still taking some very nice chip damage there from that Earthquake. Farigiraf finally goes down, but this just kind of makes the way for another Trick Room Pokemon to come in here. And just so the Torkoal now comes in, still having the Terra still be an option here. So Torkoal under Trick Room with the Drought up, potentially in a position to Terra Fire and start firing off some, pun absolutely intended by the way, firing off some huge eruptions there. Probably just going to clean Garchomp off the face of the earth, and Arcanine's certainly not going to want to take this combination. I feel like, honestly, like one Iron Defense is enough for Garganackle, as the combination of Torkoal's Eruption and Garganackle's Body Press probably going to be enough just to clean this game up right here. So we're going to have to see how, I don't know if there's really any way Hendez can make it back from this situation.
Shall see. Protect coming off of this Garchomp is going to keep it safe for at least one more turn, as the Eruption fires off from that Torkoal, just as we were talking about before. And now Arcanine's Flash Fire is going to increase its recover, firing off of this Garganackle. Gonna give it a lot more health back and put it right back in the game here, as the Flare Blitz comes into the Garganackle, not doing nearly as much as it needs to, even in this sun.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Arcanine carrying the Flash Fire ability. That is definitely something I have not seen, I think, ever in VGC. Definitely a surprise to me. But honestly, I kind of see it being very useful, especially in this situation when you're facing down a Torkoal. Not even going for the Terastallization here, just thinking that, okay, yeah, Eruption's perfectly fine. Garganackle. Still kind of a huge problem here, because it's able just to recover all of its HP back. And Garchomp actually getting a double protect here.
Wow. Double protect here for this Garchomp. Eruption firing off yet again for this Torkoal. Only going to power up this Arcanine even more with that Flash Fire ability. Something that, again, not very common on Arcanine, but becoming increasingly more common with Terastallization, being able to turn it into a Fairy type or a Grass type even. Snarl's going to fire off of this Arcanine, going to reduce the special attack on the Torkoal and Garganackle, hopefully allowing this Garchomp to survive a potential Eruption, but it's looking pretty grim. The Twisted Dimensions turn back to normal, so this Trick Room is over, and Garchomp now has a great speed advantage.
Yeah, so the Trick Room being over, that double protect absolutely clutch here, allowing Garchomp to put on some amazing offensive pressure. Hopefully this Arcanine is carrying Protect, because now it's going to, in a situation where it has to contest with its own Garchomp, Earthquaking next to it. But, you know, Garganackle is at +4, so, I mean, a critical hit would do it, but Garganackle is, I mean, basically in a position where he has to get this critical hit, but Torkoal, recognizing that it's in danger, is going to switch out.
And we see the Annihilate coming in for that switch. Arcanine is going to go for Protect, so an Earthquake is looking very likely at this moment. Garchomp's going to go for that Earthquake. Terra boosted with that Ground-type Crown shining bright on its head there. And we see it's going to go into this Garganackle with those +2 boosts and not take it below 50%, as the big body press comes into that Garchomp, taking it all the way out. Rough Skin doing a little bit of chip damage, but not enough to take this Garganackle out of the match.
Yeah, Garchomp going down there. A powerful +4 body press as the Annihilate came in, ate that Earthquake up. And the indication that this thing is Choice Scarf, I mean, Final Gambit, probably not really a huge threat here anymore, but Arcanine versus the world here. You know, this is some very good information going into this next game, but yeah, Arcanine probably not going to be able to do it for the remainder of this one. So definitely back to the drawing board for Hendez, and it looks like Garganackle is going to be priority #1, as Shadow Claw from Annihilate comes out, a Flare Blitz going into the Annihilate, just going to pick up the knockout, and I presume that Garganackle going to be cleaning up this game right here.
Yeah, you think that that's probably going to come likely. Oh, no, got to go for a Recover, make sure it stays in, gets those win cons that it needs, keeps those buffs, and now it's back up to full HP, and that is literally a tough mountain to climb for Arcanine.
Yeah, just you know, topping off the HP there, get those health values nice and green, preparing for this end game. As Torkoal comes back in, definitely not clicking the fire move this time upon the reveal of the flash fire. But yeah, Arcanine, even regardless of no Trick Room, still gonna have a tough time dealing with these two.
Absolutely. Snarl's going to come off and do a little bit of chip damage, start to reduce that special attack a bit, but that body press should be enough to finish it off. And that will be the match 1 here, going, of course, to Furat. Very, very interesting place here. Garganacl really showing to be the wall that it wants to be. What do you think Hendez needs to switch here in order to make this better, for a better outcome for him in game 2?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, letting Trick Room go up, probably not the best case situation, because it does let Garganacl kind of just get that speed advantage and start setting up those body presses. I did not get a chance to see the rest of the teams here, but I mean, yeah, definitely keeping Meowscarada alive definitely could have been a huge help with Flower Trick, but I mean, like, you know, Garganacls can't technically terrestrialize to resist that. But yeah, I think one of the keys here is definitely finding some way to mitigate Trick Room, or, you know, maybe perhaps Taunt, or maybe just more special attacking focused. But, you know, the Arcanine actually is a really big deal here, considering it's a Sun matchup.
Yeah, it can really take advantage of that in the right situation, but it looks like we're actually got the next round starting here, so we're going to transition over here shortly, and hopefully we can get a little bit of look at Furat's team here with the Farigiraf, Torkoal, Maushold, Lilligant, and the Annihilape and Garganacl we saw in that last match. There's definitely a lot on this team to look at, and there's a lot of threats to be aware of, especially that Torkoal combo with Lilligant. You know, that can make pretty much anything go right at the beginning of that turn with that chlorophyll boost and after you. But Hendez had a lot to work with here too. I mean, we've seen Goldingo, we've seen its presence in the meta right now. There's a lot here on both sides.
Yeah, I think Furat definitely is at a very good position to get that Trick Room up, because I think the combination of Farigiraf and Annihilape is just really difficult for Hendez to deal with. The taunt option is kind of off the table here because of Murkrow, you know, priority, so Prankster getting blocked by the Farigiraf. So I think it's in Hendez's best interest to try and out damage to potentially prevent the Trick Room from going up, but that Annihilape is a very, very tough wall to get past here, as we're going to see it lead off here with the Farigiraf once again.
Yeah, a familiar lead here for Furat here with the Annihilape Farigiraf, but changing things up a little bit for Hendez using that Goldingo Murkrow combo here. There's a lot of potential with this combo, and Goldingo, of course, has been an absolute menace in the meta right now. Hopefully it can get the chance to take advantage of what it does best there. But of course, you know, you've always got to be worried about the Annihilape, that Rage Fist building up. Its power, attack after attack, is definitely something you want to watch out for, especially if you're a ghost type like Goldingo.
Yeah, the good part about Rage Fist is that it's not immediately a threat, and also Goldingo can mitigate that damage a little bit with the Terrestrialize that it's going to go for on this first turn.
Right off the bat, we see Goldingo going into this Steel Terrestrialization, making those Make It Rain red Steel type moves with a base 120 attack power. All that more powerful. Tailwind making sure it hits first too, and we see the Goldingo going straight for the Make It Rain to see what all it can do here. It doesn't knock out either Pokemon, but brings them down to way below 50% of their health, and in a great spot for anyone to just absolutely sweep the rest of this. Now, of course, if this Farigiraf goes for a Trick Room, we could be in a bad position. We see the U-turn going off from Annihilape into Murkrow, yet to see who exactly Furat switches in here, but you gotta think that Farigiraf is gonna go for another Trick Room.
Yeah, pretty good position to be able to do so, as well as Torkoal comes in. Farigiraf, yep, going for that Trick Room. Able to live the Goldingo Terra Steel, Make It Rain. Something a lot of Pokemon in this format are not able to do comfortably. Yep. Even Farigiraf not really doing it comfortably, but it does its job. It survives. It's able to get up Trick Room. And, you know, Torkoal, it's in a pretty good spot to start clicking that Eruption button.
Yes, it very much is. Murkrow is going to be returned on Hendez's side. And that Eruption looking really, really nice with that Tailwind behind the other team and that big Terra Steel crown there. But Goldingo is going to keep itself safe with the Protect and the Flash Fire Protect block that was used by Hendez last game still very much in effect here as that eruption goes off, just giving Arcanine a bit of a flash fire boost. And all that's left is this hyper voice coming out from Farigiraf. It's only going to be able to hit this Arcanine here, so it's going to be interesting to see the damage count, and Arcanine takes that on the chin like a champ. Actually, pretty positive play here for Hendez.
Yeah, you get the Flash Fire Arcanine back in with the Flash Fire boost, able to start potentially throwing out some Snarls. But now you're kind of in an awkward spot where Eruption's going to basically claim everything that's on the other side of the field, but Arcanine potentially going to be able to sit on the field for a little while as a pretty good matchup here, as Murkrow, unfortunately, probably going to have to take a massive Eruption here.
Yeah, looks like Murkrow is taking the sack as this Eruption goes off from Torkoal. Of course, only giving that Flash Fire boost to Arcanine. Murkrow, of course, goes down, but, you know, in this situation, maybe a better pick than Goldingo to do so. And we see the Snarl coming off from Arcanine. It's not enough to pick up the KO on the Farigiraf, which is probably what Hendez was looking for there, but it is enough to get a critical special attack drop on both of these Pokemon, which can be pretty critical at a moment like this, especially when Trick Room's up and they have the advantage.
Yeah, getting the special attack drop here is nice, but you're still kind of in that awkward spot where, like, the Arcanine is fine to just keep sitting here. It's taking a little bit of chip damage from the Hyper Voice. I'm also curious if Torkoal has anything else to hit this Arcanine. I know Torkoal's tend to just go fire move spam all the time, but Torkoal does get a lot of neat coverage moves that can help it deal with these fire type walls that it can seem to absorb those eruptions. But actually, we're just getting the Terrastalize here, and Torkoal turning into a fire type decided it needed that little extra damage boost maybe to get this over this Goldango. But yeah, no Protect, Goldango's in trouble.
And we at least see that Protect coming from Goldango. Of course, Torkoal going for that Terrafire in the sun here is a pretty scary thing, especially for this Mono Steel at this point. And we see the Flash Fire, of course, giving Arcanine just another boost here. The Hyper Voice coming off of Farigiraf may be enough to take out this Arcanine. We'll see, and it survives it, takes it on the chin, activating a berry here. Going to give Arcanine some critical health back that it really needed. Mango Berry really helping it out as the Snarl drops again. It's showing that those critical special attack drops here are really end up helping the end game here. Torkoal's trying to get around that here with the Terrastalization, but still really not able to pick up the KOs that it needs.
Yeah, finally Farigiraf going down there, actually doing a lot of work, getting that Arcanine's health all the way down just for it to get revived all the way back up to basically half with that Mago Berry. But yeah, this is what I was thinking of, is that once Farigiraf goes down, you still have another turn of Trick Room to work with. You have one more turn to potentially get a Body Press off. I mean, I guess protecting there with Torkoal was a bit of a read to see it to catch Goldango's Protect, but it could have saved you a bit of special attack there with Snarl. Yeah. But, you know, Sun, Terra boosted, or Eruption still going to be doing a lot of damage as Goldango trying to go for a second Protect, realizing that Torkoal is still a massive threat.
And they're not able to get that second Protect. Arcanine going for its first will keep it safe this turn. Eruption's going to fire off and only hit this Goldango. You've got to think with the Terra boost in the sun, even with the double special attack drops, this Goldango does not look safe, and we see it go all the way down. Hendez losing some critical offensive output here that could come into play to finish up the rest of this match. And Garganacl is going to go straight for the Iron Defense and set it up for some mean body presses. Very good positioning here if you're Furat.
Yeah, even as Trick Room goes away, the Garganacl is now set up. Torkoal has gotten its KOs that it needs, but Meowscarada comes in, and this is kind of tricky for Garganacl because now it's not able to Terrastalize, so it's going to be taking full-on super effective damage from these Flower Tricks. Torkoal, I mean, if it has a coverage move now, it's probably time to use it. But also, it's still threatening that fire type damage on Meowscarada. So there's definitely got to be some careful positioning that's got to happen here in order for either of these players to eke out this win. But Arcanine boosted up with Flash Fire, so nothing really wanting to switch into a possible Flare Blitz either. But I believe this Meowscarada is holding the Choice Band, so it's got to be careful where it's throwing its attacks. Instead, it's going to go straight for Flower Trick and find the target on Garganacl. Easy one-hit KO.
one-hit KO there for the Meowscarada, really pulling things back in Hendez's favor. As we see now, Arcanine going for the Flare Blitz into the Torkoal. Of course, it takes that on the chin as a mono fire type, but those eruptions doing significantly less now that it's at below 50% HP. Will it be enough for this Meowscarada to survive it? You got to think at this point, this Torkoal is probably Specs, because it has not used anything other than Eruption, and Meowscarada is able to survive the Eruption due to that HP loss. Absolutely great plays here by Hendez.
Yeah, so Meowscarada being able to hang on there as Garganacl unfortunately gets knocked out there by the Flower Trick. But, I mean, Annihilape is still in a position. It's probably the fastest thing on the field, holding the Choice Scarf item, is my guess. Probably able to pick up a knockout onto this Meowscarada, and the possible inclination that this Torkoal might be Specs is a key factor here, because if it's not clicking nothing but Eruption, once Annihilape goes away, then Torkoal is powerless to handle Arcanine. So yeah. I'm curious what this Annihilape is going to go for in order to handle Arcanine, because it seems like that is the biggest threat on the field right now, as it's just been soaking up Eruptions the entire game. I mean, Arcanine still is at a very respectable amount of HP. I wonder if a close combat would be able to do it. I mean, this is what we're gonna see right here,
and the close combat takes out Arcanine. Now things are severely heating up on both sides, as we see the Annihilape going first here, not having that priority over Meowscarada. Meowscarada is going to go for the Flower Trick into the Torkoal. It is not enough to take it out. So very, very critical plays here. Hendez looking like really backed into a corner, as the Eruption coming off of this Torkoal, even with this low HP, should be enough to take out this Meowscarada.
Yeah, very, very well played from Furat there. Just getting the other side of the Trick Room sweeping coin there. First game it was Garganacl setting up for Torkoal in the back, and then now it was well, sorry, for other way around. First game it was Garganacl taking the spotlight, taking up all the KOs, and then this game it was Torkoal putting out the huge work there with that Terrifier Eruption. A very, very strong option. And yeah, Trick Room proving that it's still here, and it's still a very, very viable team comp with very, very strong options. So very good game to both players.
Very, very great games. Yeah, the back and forth there, Torkoal really being such a huge threat, Garganacl being the biggest threat in game one, and then I think Torkoal going for those spec eruptions with the terrestrializations, just absolutely boosting damage wherever it could. I mean, even into that Arcanine with the Flash Fire. Arcanine there, really, that Flash Fire ability, we used to see Arcanine only exclusively run with Intimidate, but Flash Fire absolutely saved Hendez in certain situations with that Eruption. There was a lot of really cool mechanics on both teams here, and I'm excited to see what comes next. But I think that will do it for our coverage of round 4. Eric, thank you so much for all of your help today. I know that you're going to be stepping off, but thank you for all that you've done today, and big shout out to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the Wide League having me on today. It was a pleasure to cast, and yeah, I'm going to let my fellow co-casters take us to the later rounds, and I'm excited. I'm going to keep watching the tournament, and yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we got plenty more for you guys coming up. Round 5 will be starting soon, so don't go anywhere. There's plenty more when the Wide League returns. See you in a sec.